Well, I'm here with John Knapp from Source 2050 here at the expo at PhiusCon. Great to take this opportunity to talk about 2050. But before we do, let's have a quick introduction. How did you get into this space? What's your backstory?
Sure. So I was an intellectual property attorney for about a decade and was working with tech companies in the built environment around the time that we decided to do our own retrofit project. And learned about Passive House, quickly became a convert, and it kind of married up with some of the building science I was dealing with clients. And I realized that it's a hugely promising space that had no reason to not grow and become the standard, but there were still some bottlenecks to clear. And sourcing and skills seem to be right up on the front.
So your approach or your first introduction to this whole space was as a client, essentially,
exactly right. Yeah, exactly. I kind of had a sense of kind of the movements in the built environment and construction tech, and prefab, and modular. But then actually going through the process, it has so much promise. But you see how difficult it is. How to find materials, how to find skilled trades that can actually install it properly.
Right.
And if we don't fix those, it's going to be really hard for these kinds of standards to be adopted more broadly.
Right.
Yeah.
So is that the genesis of the idea of, hey, this should be easier than what you experienced?
Exactly. I mean, I'm sort of a problem solver. We'll look at each industry, kind of globally, and then have kind of the perspective of the outsider, but that's also seen some of the pain points.
Yeah.
So I started working with Michael Ingves, who was my architect. I was brought into what became the House Accelerator early on as on the advisory committee. What could this be? How can we get information exchanged between the trades directly more efficiently? Kind of scaling what Michael had been doing with his own project teams, and then we found Zach, and it took off from there. It was very little advisory left needed. So then we started focusing on sourcing, which was the other issue, and we saw on the accelerator events, like the number one topic that comes up in the chat or in the Q&A afterwards is like, when you're doing a project profile is, hey, what was that? What did you use for that? Where did you get it? Do you have a distributor phone number, right? So there's this great exchange of information, but there's a real inefficiency in where to find these materials. And there's so much innovation happening right now with startups. European companies are coming into the U.S. for the first time. Everybody knows the product that they know, but they don't realize there's so much out there, and it's changing all the time. And there isn't an easy way to find everything and compare it and sort by the specs that matter for your project.
Or either they know the product they know, or they know the outcome that they want in the general site, because they've gone to their Passive House course, they know the science, but all that theory is usually doesn't have a brand name on it. It's sort of generic.
Exactly.
So then when it comes to, how do I actually do this? Where do I buy the stuff?
Right.
That's kind of where they're in the dark, right?
Exactly. And the accelerator's done a great job of kind of explaining, bringing people into the fold, and this is how it's done. But then you need to kind of hand them off to where do you find the actual products.
How do you describe Source 2050? What's the elevator pitch?
So it's a multi-vendor marketplace. We're focusing on products that are used in Passive House projects that are not easy to find. So things that you're going to be struggling to find at a Home Depot or a local lumberyard. Membranes, insulation, thermal breaks, those sorts of things. And so we have spent the time talking to vendors, figuring out what products are really in demand that will be useful for these kinds of projects, and then building out a marketplace where we've taken all of the specs, the information that architects and engineers really care about, and pulling it out of, sometimes it's hidden, the back of a website on the last page of a tear sheet that's a PDF, pulling all that out and turning it into really useful filters. So you can shop on the site, buy the specs that matter. If it's a certification, a declare label, fire rating, permeability class, those sorts of things. You put all that information in and you'll get the products that match. But then I think the most important feature is then allowing the design and engineering team to hand that list of products straight to the contractor.
Right.
Yeah.
A couple of things though.
Yes.
So that sounds like a good feature and a benefit to the contractor and the build team. But you mentioned it's a shop, so this is not just a directory where you can look up products.
Exactly.
There's a shopping cart, right?
Exactly right. It's not. There are a lot of great efforts at kind of product catalogs and product kind of databases, but they're useful to find out about things, but you still don't know where you're going to get them. You still don't know how to buy them and how to get them to your job site. And we've taken care of that last mile issue. Everything on the site can be purchased directly or sent to your contractor for them to purchase and have delivered to the job site.
When someone buys probably more than one product, if they're looking at a project, who are they dealing with? Are they buying that from Source 2050, or do they get put in touch with the supplier?
It's directly through Source 2050. We handle all the payment. You have a single dashboard. You have all of your orders there, and we manage the back, make sure that the vendors receive the orders and that they're fulfilled properly. You have a dashboard showing all of your shipping statuses and your tracking numbers and all the rest of it kind of in one place.
And what about training? Because a lot of the products, they might be the first time that a general contractor or a specialist trade is experiencing some of these tapes or high performance windows.
Yes.
Do you help with that?
So we put customers directly in touch with the vendors as a marketplace. We're not a salesperson, so we're kind of agnostic to the products that we carry.
Yep.
But we're really stringent with the vendors that they provide the materials that a customer is going to need to understand how the products are used. So training videos, documentation, tear sheets. There's always direct support to every vendor through the site. So if you're looking at a product and you have a question, you can click straight through and get a chat or a phone number and talk to the vendor directly. So we're pulling all that information together in one place, so you're never on your own. You always have that support.
Now, you say you're agnostic, but you don't mean that completely, right? You have some quality control, or you have some level of this is a place for people who are looking to do passive house.
Passive house, energy efficient,
high performance.
Yes, and high performance projects generally, and passive house in particular. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're not. We can't play favorites among our vendors.
Sure.
That's what. But as far as who we let on, good products that have or can be used in passive house or other energy efficient construction. With good reputations. The people that stand behind their products and support them. Those are our criteria.
Well, let's have a look at who's on the platform already. You want to show us that through the website?
Sure. So this is just a selection of some of our vendors here. As I said, we're onboarding a whole bunch more. There's 3 that were kind of I was trying to get in before the conference or before this print had to go to the printer that just missed it. But we'll probably have another dozen or so by the end of the year.
So you've got a whole selection. There's quite a few. There's some membrane people there. So weather tightness, air tightness. One of your key products here is T-stud. So you've got some timber, some structural solutions. What else have we got? Air?
Yeah, really focused on the membrane, on the envelope.
Right.
To start. So if you look up here under categories, this is where we've really broken out our product selection by category and subcategory. And what we think is really important is we've spent the time, if you go into a category like membranes, it's not just a mishmash of products. We have all of our selections here, but on this left column, we've built out these filters that allow you, a little explainer if you're not sure what is actually being asked. But if you click on any of these, so if you're looking for a declare label, for example, you click on there, and those are your products. So it's already important that you can stand here with your spec list and say these are our requirements, and it really gets detailed, SD values, permeability of classes, and so forth. And find the products that are going to fit your requirements. But then when you have your product, you can buy it directly. Obviously, as we discussed, the pricing's right there. You can put it in your cart and check out. But you can also add it to a spec list. So here I'm logged as an architect. Here are the 2 projects that I'm working on. I'm already using that product in those. But I go in here and I can see I'm also working on 789 Congress Street. So I'm going to go ahead and add it to that list as well.
Right.
So now this will pull up 789 Congress, and this has all the products that I'm speccing for that project. And now I can send this link here to my contractor, with the drawings. So he'll know exactly what I'm calling for in the drawings and where to get it, along with pricing and lead time in real time.
Excellent. And back to the categories up there. I mean, that's quite a good breakdown of the principles of high performance. You've got your membranes and insulation. So, like you say, it's focusing very much on the envelope. But you've got your fenestrations. Have you got some windows in there at the moment?
Yes, exactly.
And then you got your mechanical services, wall assemblies, and then some appliances, lighting controls as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got the whole lot.
Yeah, we're moving from the envelope to kind of the air quality. So it's bringing in mechanicals and sensors as well.
Yep.
So we got some pretty exciting air quality sensors.
Yeah.
A kitchen hood that's being developed just specifically for passive house applications.
Right.
That ties in with the air quality and an ERV system.
Yep.
So it really is not just a kitchen hood; it's a whole house air control system.
Nice.
Called Active AQ. That'll be available next year.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the next frontier for us is how do we monitor interior air quality and have all the systems talk and monitor and control that air quality well.
Now we're day 2 of PhiusCon as we're recording this, and you launched day before yesterday.
Well, yes, we launched at noon on the first day of the conference.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So early days. So you've got. Do you know how many products you've got online?
We have about 170 something products.
Really? And how many brands?
26 brands, I think, online. So,
but that's at launch.
It's at launch.
And then there's plans to expand from there.
Absolutely. The more brands are coming in, more categories that we're gonna expand into.
And are you wanting to hear from people if they're keen to be on?
Absolutely.
On the platform?
I mean, we definitely want to hear from vendors, but we're really interested in architects and engineers that are going to use it to tell us what they don't see. Right. A lot of these products got here because over the last 18 months, we held these little roundtable discussions with vendors, with architects, with engineers, with contractors, to talk about what a marketplace could be and what they would want from it. So we knew that we were designing something that would be useful. Yeah. And one of the big questions we would have at each of the sessions is, what products are a pain to find? Right. What should we be carrying? Yep. And so we got a lot of our thermal brake material came out of that conversation. As it's really hard to find good, high compressive strength thermal brake materials. Yeah. So we took that conversation and we went and found some really great products and brought them in. And as you can imagine, those are easy conversations for the vendors. We've got architectural firms that want to spec your product and they don't know where it is.
People need to find you. Yeah. Where can people get in touch with you? What's the best way to?
So source2050.com is the website, and I'm John at source2050.com. So that's pretty simple. Yeah.
Well, like I said, congratulations, well done, and to yourself, and also to Michael. I know he's got a finger in so many pies.
Yes.
And this is his latest, which is fantastic. I'm really excited to see how this goes over the next year and then beyond. I think it sounds like a great platform to really help the whole industry get up and running. So well done. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.